All right, guys, so today we're talking about the M5 again. Now, on this car, there's a whole array of things that cost over $1,000. Like your average BMW, you have one or two things that cost over $1,000 usually, and that's about it. And that's usually things go terribly wrong. This car is a little bit different though. So we're gonna start with the very first thing, the very most obvious thing is an engine. Now there's no new engines available, right? So you're down to buying a used engine. Let's say you don't do the rod bearings, it blows up on you. It throws the rod to the side of the block, it's not fixable, it's junk, right? Not very long ago, before the epidemic hit, it would cost about 10 grand for an engine off eBay, just a used engine. And now it's down to about $6. You can find a couple for about $600 to $6,500. Now keep in mind, you still have to do rod bearings to put it in. You still got to do possibly the Vanil pump before you put it in, the Vanil line, on and on and on. It's never just a drop-in type situation. So that's the biggest thing I would say at this point, the biggest expense. And the next one down I have is the Vanil pump. As you know, the Vanil pumps on these, if they go, it makes the engine go, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. For an upgraded Vanil pump, the oil feed pump for the Vanil system is about $1,500, and you have to send them your pump. You can roll the dice for $400 or $500 off eBay for just a straight out used one, but a straight out used one doesn't guarantee you a good pump. It's not easy to get to. You do have to pull the oil pan off to get to it. So it's not something you're willing to mess around with, and you want the updated pump, right? So that's number two. Number three is the brake rotors. A lot of people don't know this. The brake rotors on these cars are insanely expensive. They're on average $300 a piece. That's not even for the OEM stuff. That's just like for some run-of-the-mill stuff. If you could find an aftermarket brand, either, the only thing I've seen is OEM, Brembo, I think one other brand, and that's it. But they're all about $1,200 and up for a set of 4 brake rotors. It's insane money. You know, they're made especially for this car, so you can't just put regular E60 brake rotors on it. No way, no how, it's completely different. And this car, even though it's strange, you know, from having E60s in the past, sitting in it, you're sitting in an E60, but it's really not E60. It's really nothing. There's a few body parts that are E60, but the car is so different, but looks the same from the outside, right? So different. The next one is Vanil Solenoids. Now the Vanil Solenoids, they're about, what, $1,100 to $1,500. There's 4 solenoids, depends on where you get them from. Your genuine ones, I think, are even more than that. I think they're closer to $400 a piece. And that's just, these prices are just me buying the parts. If I had to buy these parts, put them on myself. If you have to take it to a shop to get the stuff put on, that's a whole nother situation there. So we try to get everything that was over $1,000. We have one on here that's not. We'll get to that here in a second. The next one is the actual Vanil units themselves. The Vanil units themselves sit on the front of the cylinder heads. That's the actual adjuster unit for the Vanil itself. If you need one of those, they were $600, $700, $800 for one rebuilt one, and you need 2 of them if you ever have those kind of issues. And when I tore this thing apart, everybody's like, oh, you might as well upgrade that, upgrade this. I said, whoa there, big buddy. You're gonna have like 30 grand in this car just in parts, right? So you gotta put the brakes on it somewhere. All that stuff works fine in this car. I didn't see a need to do all that. The next one is Smg Solenoids. There's a solenoid rack sits on top of the transmission. Those are pretty expensive, right? They're about, for just a used set, they're about $800, $900. I didn't see any new working sets on there, which reminds me I need to inspect the extra set I got and see if those are good. I'm trying to figure out how to test those. That might be quite a bit of money just sitting there, right? So the next one is the coil packs, ignition coil packs. These take the white ignition coil packs, as I showed you many, many times, and they're about $80, $85 per coil, and there's 10 of them. So with a little bit of tax, a little bit of shipping, it'll get you $1,000 pretty quick. that kind of sucks, because if you buy one of these, you're probably gonna need those, right? So the next one is the rod bearings. Now the rod bearings themselves and the bolts, we pay for ACLs, we paid, I don't remember. It was a little less than 200 bucks. The rod bolts are about 400 bucks to 600 bucks. You're saying, okay, why is this on the list only 600 bucks? Well, to do that, then you got to add, when you do the job, your Vanil line, your oil pan gasket, there's some other associated pieces with it. If you're lucky, not the Vanil's pump. So just by doing that, you're about $1,000, give or take $1,000 in parts just to do the rod bearings in this car. There again, if you have to hire this out, you might be able to find somebody that likes to do it, that's done it. Let's say they have a shop like this, they have a lift. You might find a personal guy that might do it for $1,000 labor, maybe. If you take it to BMW, I don't know if they even would do it. If they would, it's gonna be pretty crazy on the old price, that's for sure. Throttle actuators. The throttle actuators, that's why this car is not running right now. We're waiting on the gears still for the throttle actuators. Got the gears in, did one side, it worked out great. Did the other side, as I was rocking the gear back, it broke. I don't know. Didn't even get to the point to where I could press it on or nothing, right? Heavy damage of shipping, whatever, who knows? Just the gears are about 160 bucks if you get the ones with the shafts already pressed onto them. And that's like eBay price. That's not even, you go to the dealer, you might as well forget that. 160 bucks isn't bad, but you may not get away with just that. If it cooked the MOSFETs on the little circuit board, you got a whole nother issue going on, right? At that point, you got to send the whole thing out. Probably cheaper just to get a remanufactured set of throttle actuators where you send yours in for a core. They send you a set that's already done. That's about $700-800 bucks if you're lucky enough to find the right guy on eBay to do that. If you actually have to like buy these things that are new, what, $1,500, $1,700, no, something stupid. I think it's $1,500 bucks you could actually buy the set for. There's two of them and so forth. So we're hoping on mine, we're gonna get away with 160 bucks for it, but that's to be determined, no doubt. The next one is these damn paddle shifters. As you see in my earlier videos, I had the downshift paddle was broken and we glued it with basically model glue, which is very strong and very good, and it hasn't broken yet. You could buy a used set off eBay for about $350 for both of them, right? The problem is they had a problem with braking. If you buy a used set, what's gonna happen? You're gonna spend 350 bucks on a pair of these things. Be driving, it probably won't be very long. You'll be shifting, it's gonna break. The plastic is brittle from the sun because the location of it, the sun's coming through the windshield. Whoop, hit you guys there. Coming through the windshield, and it deteriorates the plastic on them, right? So a new set, just for one, is about $340, $345 just for one paddle shifter. You need two. That's the one I was talking about earlier. It's not quite $1,000, but you know, it's, I don't know, time they charge you tax and shipping and all this other stuff. You're looking $750, probably getting close to 800 bucks, I would say, just for two paddle shifters. And the issue is, these are getting to be older cars. You always can't justify spending that kind of money on the car before it's just not worth fixing, right? So you really gotta watch out what you do. If you buy one of these cars, definitely try to buy one the engine is not blown up in. If you don't have to go physically drop $6 grand or $7 grand to start with, you have a lot more money to build the rest of the car out and maybe still be okay on it. So the end result, what should you buy an E60 M5 for? You know, they're for sale anywhere, as you've seen in the past, from $3,500 bucks to $25,000. If you buy one for $25,000, is it gonna be better than one for, let's say, $5 grand? But it probably not, to be honest with you. And if you start out purchasing the car at a higher purchase price, thinking it's nicer, maybe it has 10,000 less miles on it, it's gonna have all the same issues. If nobody's went in there very recently and done all this stuff, you're gonna have to do it. You can't just get it and drive it. It just physically won't let you do that, right? And unfortunately, we're in the situation with these cars. And all cars, people love to drive stuff, just drive it till it just will not move. Not drive it till there's stuff broken and say, okay, I can't afford to fix it, maybe we'll sell it. No, no, oh no. They drive it till it just will not move, till you just physically can't drive it and sell it and try to get their money back out of it, which usually is 7 to 10 grand. And watch out for those cars. Unfortunately, that's about 90% of these cars. Most of them cars are like that. They've been neglected. They're so expensive to fix. Nobody has money or even wants to throw the money at fixing them. And there you go. You end up with a lot of people with these cars with low mileage. They're low mileage because nobody wants to drive them. They're all scared to death of driving them because they can't afford to fix them if they break. Here, we don't really care. If it breaks, it's more content. I don't have to pay anybody to fix it. For the most part, we can fix it fairly cheap enough to justify doing it. And that's where we're at with this car. We almost got all the nonsense worked out of it. Waiting on the last little piece. Then we're nice and drivable, nice and reliable. Then we go through and get some cosmetics taken care of and some little things taken care of. And it can sit here in the shop all at once. We have like 4 other cars to drive. We can get it out, make videos with it, race around town with it, put it back in the shop. You know, sitting inside is, in a shop or in a garage is a big thing for these cars. These cars do not like to sit outside at all. Especially here in the Missouri weather where it gets to be 100 in the summer. It's 0 degrees, below 0 degrees sometimes in the winter time. That'll wreck all the moldings, it'll wreck the paint. Like this one's got some paint damage from sitting outside. It'll make water back up in the ECU box. If it gets dirt in it, flood the ECU out. That's a whole nother crisis you gotta worry about. That's gonna be it for this video, guys. What a long ass video, but it is what it is. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. And we'll show you here real quick on the old workbench, throttle actuator gears. This is the throttle actuator, just to clarify. And you can see, probably not with this lens you can't, but let's see if we could touch the screen and get you on in there. No. Anyway, you can see the gears right there are real pointed, they're getting wore out. And then here's the connecting gear, it's getting all wore out too. And that's what's causing our codes. And then when we got the new one, try to put it on, that snapped in 2 off the shaft. And that's why we're sitting, that's why there's no new videos out recently. That's gonna be it. Thanks for watching. See you later.